Yeah. So I was saying, if you want to, please put this on YouTube because others might also help uh, need to hear this. What you told me, because I I am part of all subreddits of non-duality, awakening, and whatnot. I have read every single book that is available on
Yeah.
non-duality for the past 12 years now, and I don't think that anyone. I don't want to even talk now. It's so strong. This,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, for the recommendation and everything. Yeah, you know what?
yeah,
There's a guy that I do one-on-ones with that he said he posted on Reddit, and then he was just basically saying, oh, and this stuff. I don't go to Reddit, you know what I'm saying? But thank you.
yeah. I heard about you from Reddit,
Okay.
so I don't know who's watching this.
Yeah.
So guys, please pay attention. This guy will destroy what you think is true, and then laugh in your face, and you love him for it.
Thank you. Yeah, so people don't like the laughter. Like, why is he laughing so much? Now you get it, right?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's almost like it's a beautiful mystery that's funny,
yeah.
but it's also ineffable, and it's just unbelievable. And the mind can never catch it. So
I just got a great analogy to explain it. So yesterday I was talking to my mother on phone, and when I was while I was on the call, I was searching for my mobile phone,
yeah.
I'm holding it here, searching it all across my apartment. And when I realized, I laughed,
Yeah,
and this is exactly that.
it's exactly that. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm very forgetful now, right? Because there's just this moment, and I sometimes put my glasses on my I'm looking all over for my glasses. And you go to the mirror and you're like, oh, it's there. You just put it on. But thank you, Akash. You know what? Just keep in touch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I'll post this video. It's a great video. It's great.
Great.
Thank you so much for sharing as well. I
Thank
really
you so much,
appreciate
Emerson.
people that tell me to share the video because it does help a lot. In the story, it helps a lot of people, right? There's so many
Yes,
people especially from India. I can't believe that there's a lot of people watching from India that I get
and
all of these letters.
most people would think that I booked a session. They won't even know I'm. So you're recording it right now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this guy is doing it free for me. So it's not he isn't. So he just made time for me, and he's done that. So I would want everyone to see this video and get if they can get something out of it. I would pray that you also have this clarity
Oh,
that we
thank you.
have right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for making time for me.
No worries. No
And
worries. So tell me your I read your email, but remind me what your email said and your seeking story.
so I'll go back many years
Okay.
before coming to my email. So I started seeking when I was 16. I'm 28 now.
Okay.
And even before that, when I was a child, I was a kid, literally 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. I used to look myself in the mirror and I used to feel that I'm not looking at myself.
Mm,
I used to feel like there's no one
yeah.
in the mirror. So,
Okay.
and then it would be very momentary. So, for a few seconds, I used to feel that, and then life would go on. And then when I was 16, I started meditation.
Hmm.
And then when I was in college, I think 18 or 19, I discovered Advaita Vedanta,
Hmm.
non-duality,
Okay.
through this great book called Silence of the Heart by Robert Adams.
Yeah.
So I started from there. And now, more than 1,000 book later,
Yeah.
went on and on and on. And it was in COVID, 2020. I read a
Hmm.
book by Fred Davis
Hmm.
called, I think, Awaken Now.
Okay.
and that triggered my awakening, and
Okay.
that remained for a week, and then it was lost.
Okay.
I think it was April 2020.
Okay.
And then from that point forward, multiple awakenings, but for a few minutes, for a few hours or so, and then it would go.
Yeah.
And then, before writing my email to you
Hmm.
a few days back, before that, I was just moving around my house, and I asked myself spontaneously for what's happening. So a thought came, XYZ is happening. Let's say I'm working.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm working. Who knows this? And when I asked this question, who knows this? There wasn't me, there was just, this.
Yeah.
So this happened. And then I was trying to get back to that state again and again through inquiry and whatnot. It was going on.
Yeah.
And then I saw your video with Limba on YouTube.
Oh, Limba. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's from Italy.
Yeah.
So I saw that video and I went out on a walk while listening to the video. And that walk was the best walk of my life
Oh.
because it was just this.
Yeah.
So everything that separated myself from truth
Hmm.
evaporated in that instance, and then it was just this,
Yeah.
whatever we can call this. And after
Beautiful.
that, uh, 1 or 2 day, so it was I think Saturday, and I wrote to you on the same day or a day after that. I don't remember, and I think I wrote to you on Sunday, if I'm correct. So whatever. So then I had this immense dread of not having any ambition or not having any desire to do anything. And I have to get some things done in my life as a part of my life, as a
Yeah.
part of living. And I had no ambition, no desire for it. So I wrote to you in very dire circumstances because I didn't know what to do now. And then this awakening also sometimes throughout for example, today. So it's not here every second,
Yeah.
but I'm just walking and it hits.
Yeah. So the mind, the me, the character is always trying to go to the next. It's going to try to kind of like say, well, what do I do now? I don't have any desire. So what's between doing and not doing?
I don't know how to answer that because
Yeah.
this, just this, whatever
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah. What's between this and not this?
This ocean of infinite peace,
Yeah.
if I can say, call it
Yeah.
that.
So the mind, the me, the character, the ego will try to create a condition where there is a next, right? So for example, oh, I don't have any desire right now. It's trying to go into, when am I going to have desire and everything? And the tendency of teachings and all that kind of stuff like that. That's why it doesn't really last, is because it doesn't see that blind spot. So for example, in your, reading that book by Fred or something, then always positions a next. So what if there's no next?
That has been the hooking point for me for many years now. So whenever this happened, like this clarity,
Yeah,
the mind would say that I need to now process my emotions. Emotions would come back, and I used to feel a lot of,
exactly.
and then I would, if not I, but the character would resume.
Well, see, let me catch you on that one, right? So there's the identity of a doer, and when this clarity happened, then it becomes non-doer. So what's between doership and non-doership? Because do
Now I know exactly why you laugh in so much in your videos.
okay, good. A lot of people don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the tendency is, there's a positioning of a question and you want some answer, so you're hoping that I have the answer. But if you remove the not even remove if you remove the language, what's left? Are there any questions without language?
No.
No. There you go. So there's a life that's unfolding, right? It's not about the idea before is that you would have to maintain it, which is great. You know what I'm saying? And you have to do a lot of, sadhana, which is great as well. So I'm not against it. And then a lot of, purification, a lot of, and then you would have to do either karma, jnani or bhakti, so which is great. You know what I'm saying? But in this appearance, it should be universal. You know what I'm saying? So it should be able to be accessible for believers and non-believers.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's an immediacy to it. There's a directness to it. So for the believer, if they want to do practice sadhana, they want to do, a karma yoga path or whatever, that's cool. But there's also the opposite that, you know what, we'll never buy into that. You know what I'm saying? People that I went back and forth because first I was a believer and I became a non-believer. I'm sure you've heard of radical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I have
yeah,
been into it.
you've read thousands of books about this,
Yes,
then
yes.
you've seen. But if you look at what everybody is just positioning, is just positions, and the mind loves positions.
And Emerson, what interesting thing I noticed was, so I used to read all these books,
Yeah,
all the authors, we know who they are, right?
yeah,
And when I had these moments of clarity, I used to go back to those books
yeah,
and I used to be like, why use so many heavy words to
exactly.
explain something so simple?
Yeah,
And I used to feel very like I don't want to read this, and I used to put them away.
yeah,
Then when this clarity went away, I used to go back to the same books, and I used to
yeah,
feel like okay, there's something great in these. Now I don't see anything that I can get from the
yeah,
books that I
yeah.
don't already have.
So this, yeah, it's just, and that's the same thing with me, right? Because I used to be a big fan of scriptures and books, and I love them, and I was reading, breathing them, living them, basically, because I was a combination. Because when this happened to me about 20 years ago, I decided to be all of it. I decided to be bhakti, karma, karmi, and also jnani. You know what I'm saying? Because so I was, helping people on the streets, which is great. You know what I'm saying? I recommend it. It's great. You know what I'm saying? And then I was devotional. I was doing kirtan. You know what I'm saying? And I was involved with the Ishkan people. We would do, beautiful, right? I used to dance all night singing Hare Krishna. You know what I'm saying? And then I would. I'm glad I'm talking to a person that's from India, right? So you understand, right, what I went
Yeah, I
through.
understand that.
And then Jnani, right? I would be reading the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, your Bhagavad Gita and the all of the scriptures basically. I even
Yeah,
got into Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, right? So I did the yamas and the niyamas.
been there, done
Oh
that.
my goodness, right? Um, and um, and I went to all of the sages. Much respect, much respect. I'm not trying to knock them, but at this very moment, if you cannot go to the past or the future, what do you believe? so so I had that, like I've told this story many times, right? I had that clarity. And then what was really obvious is I could not really find Emerson anymore. So it means that all of Emerson's memory, all of Emerson's knowledge, wisdom was all fabrication. And I used to, I was neurotic about, um, books. I used to memorize portions of it. So guess what I did? I threw them all out. And it's just been so much contentment, because there's always going to be a point of comparison, and the comparison can only be based on the past and the future.
Yeah.
So for example, if somebody you hear somebody was like floating in space for 10 years, you would try to get to that. If somebody's levitating or something, or
Yeah,
somebody, right, and it just becomes another position for the mind to chew on. Although maybe these scriptures are great and everything, but when it's over, it's over.
yeah. And for
There's
me, it
nothing
was
more
more,
to learn from the past or the future, because you're in the moment, in this moment where there's just clarity. Kind of like what you've been saying, right? It's like it's beginning to unravel, right? This clarity. It's been 3 days now. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, just 4 days,
yeah.
right?
So yeah, this is the fourth day, and it has. So these past 3 4 days, I don't think I have suffered per
Yeah,
se. Even if the clarity wasn't here 100% of the time,
yeah,
I could just get back to it through inquiry.
yeah.
And
What if you even get rid of the inquiry of who am I and everything? Because if you notice that, it's just another food for thought.
yeah, so how do I get rid of that? That's the
Um,
question.
if it works for you, it works for you. But if you will get you back into seeking, then you know what I'm saying. It's almost
Yeah,
like,
it does.
right? Because who am I? Who are you asking when you're asking who am I? Just another thought as responding a thought. So when what's being presented here is that it does not bring any thought. It goes directly to it, and that's why we laugh, right? Because there's that silence, and there's just that fullness at the same time. But it's not because of a thought. It's not because you're abiding, not because you have discovered that there's no I, because that's why it doesn't last. The inquiry. I did inquiry for 10 years, right? So again, nothing wrong with it. It's great for some people that are seeking, what I'm saying, and it's great. But it's almost like when you graduate, you don't go back to take some more lessons,
Yeah.
right? And it's fine if you want to. That's completely all right. But just ask yourself, what am I without language? And it's almost like a reset button.
Right now it's completely clear, so I just have two questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
um, so in my story of seeking, my biggest blockage, my
Mm-hmm.
biggest point of, I would say, separation has always been emotions.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar with Lester Levinson and all those teachers who talk about releasing your emotions,
Oh
releasing
yeah,
your
yeah.
feelings.
It's funny, right? I've probably done maybe about at least about 10 one-on-ones that's released for people that came from the Sedona method.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So Sedona method.
yeah.
So
Again, you
by
know what? It's
now,
great and everything, but there's, what, and it's just not to knock it or anything like that, because it helps, perhaps, you know what I'm saying? But sorry, go ahead with your question. I interrupted you.
so no problem, no problem. So I was just saying that for me, that has been the major crutch point, and I would always feel that I need to release, and get clear,
Because it goes to
release
the
my
next,
emotions.
to the next, to the next
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So let go of my emotions, and then I'll materialize all my desires, and I'll be
Yeah.
rich, wealthy, enlightened, whatnot.
Yeah.
And that hasn't helped.
No, it does. It's funny because there was this group of Sedona method people that I started, you know, like a chat room or something, and they started doing one-on-one with me, and it was just amazing. So it's still based on the thoughts. The thought trying to go to the next is still a thought. The thought trying to release a thought is still a thought. So it's the illusion maintaining the illusion, basically.
But then
Because
when
you
there's an
might find,
emotion.
You might find some release, for example, you know what I'm saying? But the emotions come back again, and there's nothing wrong with it. So trying to
Yeah.
get rid
So
of emotions, trying to release emotions is making it wrong. Right? So for example, if sadness is happening, what's between sadness and no sadness? What's between acceptance and rejection?
and when emotions come up, so
It's not about accepting or
how?
rejecting them. Yeah, it's just what it is, right? Um, but the story,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Or sometimes, you know what? It's just, and then yeah, because I did that for quite a while too. Not Lester Levinson's, and he's great. You know what I'm saying? But I did that before too, and it was just a cycle over and over and over again. Right after a release, I need this another thing, and everything, just like everything is. But this is kind of like an unfolding in the moment, not in the past or not in the future. So it's not about digging the past to release in the future, because it's like going back to a dream and trying to resolve it when you're awake.
Yeah.
Then you go back into the dream again, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to ask the second question now, but
Go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
so I told you about something that I need to do, right? Something I need to achieve,
Yeah.
something that I have to do
Yeah.
for livelihood. But there's no, I would say, rush or desire to
Yeah.
go after it.
Yeah.
It's just, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
And
happen,
again,
it
you
doesn't
know what?
happen.
Even if you take away that belief, then it's just a belief again.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Right. And it can just be an obstacle, right?
Yeah, so I was beating myself up for not doing working towards my goal. I was just
Yeah.
feeling bad
Yeah.
for.
It's just another belief that you're not walking towards your goal. It's just in the past, right? So if you take away the belief and the non-belief, what's left?
This.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So if work needs to be done, work needs to be done. And if it can wait, it can wait. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Because in the absolute, you know what I'm saying? If you really look at it, you're not really even choosing to do any of this. It's just unfolding. The thought comes
Yes.
after. The thought is delayed that I chose this or I should do this. You know what I'm saying? So in the absence of thoughts, it's just an unfolding. And if you notice, you know what? In the morning, you don't plan to brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth just happens. When you're walking just happens, right? You're not thinking your left, feet to start, or the heart beating. And it's the same thing with the mind. The mind is just another fabrication. So when there's clarity with that language, everything seems to flow organically, authentically, as it is. Yeah. So if making money is needed, making money happens. You know what I'm saying? It's not about manifesting, because that's just another of the mind, right? So you keep on waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Yes, I also got into manifestations. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so I had this question from you,
Yeah,
if you don't mind me asking. So,
yeah.
how was your journey in regards to this? Like making, not what you did, but after your clarity, after your awakening, how
I
would,
realized that I was just fooling myself with
oh, and
manifestation and
how,
everything.
and you continue to do that, or it
No,
just
no more,
fell
no
away?
more. Yeah, no more. Life is more somehow, this is just a narrative. Life is more abundant when there is just this flow. There's contentment, there's peace, and no matter what, and somehow life seems to flow as it is. Or even if poverty happens and everything, you know what I'm saying? It is that it is, at least there's peace with it. There's also peace in trying to get out of that. There's also peace in
There's
trying
some
to,
there's some noise in my background. I hope it's not disturbing you.
no, 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 it's okay. It's all good. Yeah. So it's again, no, no, you know what, again, making manifestation wrong or right is a position. So it's between manifestation and no manifestation.
It just fuck it.
Yeah.
Happens, happens. Doesn't happen,
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, because
Doesn't matter.
it's just more mind stuff, right? Again, there's nothing wrong or right about the mind, but it's just a fabrication. So everything that the mind, fabricates is a fabrication. It can only fabricate things. So a thought creates a thought that becomes a belief, like manifestation. The belief becomes a series of a belief system that becomes a sense of identity, which is kind of like, oh, I'm a manifester. That becomes your identity. But if you unpeel that identity of manifestation, it's just a belief. If you peel the belief, it's just a thought. If you unlabel the thought, it's what you can't say, what I can't say. So it's not about making wrong or right, meditation wrong or right, manifestation wrong or right, because that's just a position, right? It's in between that there's clarity, because when you go in between, there's really no opposites. It just, everything just clears up.
I have several heavy emotions coming up the body right now, but
Yeah, yeah, it's
frank-
okay.
frankly, it's all right.
Yeah. What's between acceptance and rejection?
These questions are like nuke. They just destroy the mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. Because I've been trying so hard for the past, few years to try to express this clarity, but the words kept on getting on the way. So I'm like, what if we get rid of the words? But that's not possible because we still have to speak. So what if you position the word against the word that's an opposite and go into that directness? Because when this unhappening happened to me, you can go all the way back into my talks. I always talk about this, that the beliefs were just going down the drain. The thoughts were just just getting nuked, because there was this clarity that was just so intense, right? That I was speechless. I'm like, how do I share that?
I'm like that right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm blank. I won't call it zoning out,
Yeah.
but while you're talking, I'm just it's I don't know how to say it, but eyes are pupils are dilute. Whatever, I don't know how to. Okay, so something that I ran after for all these years was just here.
That's right. That's right. It's almost like many people seek different words. Basically, some people seek God, awareness, consciousness, peace, contentment, no self, no me, all of that, right? What if you've been staring at God, no self, me, no me, awareness, consciousness all this time, but you've just been calling it names? Well, you can't say the name, right? The name blinds you of what is always here, right? So,
By the way, thank you so much for doing
you're very
this.
welcome. You're very welcome. I
And
I Yeah, when I read your letter, I'm like, okay, he needs to talk. He needs to.
Yeah, I even for so you already know that I didn't even schedule a session with you. I told you that I can't schedule a session right now because of economical reasons,
No
and
worries.
then I asked of I think a question, and I was half accepting you to answer the question. I even thought you might not even answer it. And lo and behold, 1 hour or so later, I have this invitation for this session. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God."
Glad to
So
be of
thank you.
help, my brother, because you know what? I've been there, right? So, because I'm happy that you found the one-on-one videos and it, but let's pull the rug completely, right? Let's put a nail in the coffin, so to speak. Yes.
Whew.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here, brother. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Okay. All right,
And I'll
Akash.
keep you. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
No, no, no. Have a good
Okay.
day and just message me anytime. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'll keep you posted and
Okay.
I'll keep you updated.
All right.
Thank you.